Howdy folks, this is a Friday morning shave for me, and the soap of the day is Mickey Lee Soapworks The Kraken. This is a barbershop scent, and kind of like the label there, that's what it looks like on the inside, and it's a fairly firm puck there. Going to be following the shave up with Lucky Tiger Aspen, and I don't know if you can see, you should be able to read that about the scent. It says it is a truly masculine, fresh, spicy aroma. It's pretty nice. Got Humphrey's Witch Hazel, alum block with rubber band. Shaver of the day is the Parker SRB. SRB standing for Straight Razor Black for the scales. Somebody's not happy with me being up this morning. But that's what this Parker looks like. It has a Personna blade in it, which is on its second use. Here's my brush. This brush is from Green Country Razors. That's what the bottom of it looks like there. It's got a badger knot in there. Using a Sriracha bowl found at a thrift store. Excuse me, 99 cents, $1, something like that. Pretty inexpensive. I've already had a hot towel to the face, bloom water, put it on my face, and we'll go ahead and get started here. And you can tell this knot is just full of soap. Mickey Lee Soapworks is another one of those soaps that I've never had an issue with. I've got 3 of them, and never had an issue with any of them. Slickness cushion, lathers up just fine. When it comes to the Parker Shavettes, I have this one and the SRX. That's the one that's all metal. I guess you might say a heavyweight of the bunch. Then have another one that's the XRX, and then the SR1. I don't have an SR1. It looks very much like one of these, except for this is all nice and shiny. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first pass here. I don't have any of the Parker's push types. I have a mental block against push types. It has to do with the, not all of them of course are made with the plastic insert. It's the plastic insert is where I have my problem. I don't know whether the push type, whether there's an issue with it staying in place or not, I couldn't tell you. But it's just that plastic piece. I figure I'd end up having to replace it, and why get one of those where you're going to have a plastic part that's going to wear out when you can get this one and not have to worry about it. Now Dovo, they have a plastic insert. They seem to be selling just fine, so in other words, evidently there must not be quite the issue with it like I perceive it to be. But even at that though, I still, nah, that's alright. This was the one of 2 shavettes that I got when I first started shaving with a shavette. The other one was a Classic Samurai. The I'm going to say it's the scales, and it's quite possible that it's actually the pivot pin. Maybe that was installed a little cattywampus, but it's not uncommon that somebody mentions about the flex of the scales, because if you notice in there is no center post or anything in the middle to stabilize it, give it support, so it doesn't flex when you're using it. Now when it comes to reviews, it's starting to rain. When it comes to reviews, you have to read them a particular way. And there's been a few reviews talking about how these have broken. It does make you wonder what was going on to have them to break them like that. I haven't experienced any kind of issues like that. Kind of makes you wonder if the person did get frustrated with it for whatever the reason, and that's how it got broken. But like I said, I do understand why there's concern about it, because with mine, when you rotate this scale around, it's right about there, and I don't understand why for sure. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't understand what's going on right there, but there's a clicking sound right there. Kind of makes me wonder if the pivot pin is at a little bit of an angle or not round, or maybe the hole itself in here is not round. That's the reason it's hitting something that's causing it to do that. Outside of that, I don't have any problems with it. It doesn't affect the performance of the shaver at all. I don't have any issues with it. It's just something that's kind of, wouldn't think it'd take that much effort to put a center post in there to give that scale some support. Area I am in here in Oklahoma, we're supposed to have a thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock in the morning, and right now it's about 20 till 5. I usually get started early in the mornings. I get to work early and get off early. Early, and that is before 5 o'clock. You do miss the rush hour traffic in the morning. It's not quite as thick. And then coming home, it's not quite as bad. We've been needing the rain though. It's good that we're getting it, because it's been pretty dry here recently. I know around us they've been getting rain, but we've been missing it. Look at all that. This is a nice thin. I like this one. You know, everybody that makes a barbershop scent, they got their own spin on it. And I like this one. And no, I can't describe it to you. I just know I like it. My nose is not, doesn't work well enough on a consistent basis, I think, for me to be very good at describing scents. Sometimes I can, especially if it's straightforward. Lime is lime. Orange is orange. Orange menthol. In other words, some of these are pretty simple. It might have a little bit of powdery smell, maybe, but I would not say that's the I don't think that's the predominant one that I'm picking up. And this is my nose, which, you know, with the trouble I'm having with it already this morning, it's almost a, I can't place what that scent is, what I'm picking up. Pass number 2 against green. Now, when it comes to stretching, it's up, you know, everybody's going to be different on how much they need to stretch. So in other words, you can just turn your head, stretch your neck, and that might be all you need. Or you might need to place a little bit of pressure to stretch the skin a little bit. And if you watch a number of videos when it comes to straight razor shaving, or even DE sometimes, the Adam apple area, you'll see somebody take their skin if they can, and they'll shift it to one side or the other to shave that area so that you're not shaving straight over the Adam's apple. And that might be something to think about when you're doing these, because it's very bumpy right through here. It could be tricky using one of these, or even a DE as far as that goes. For me, just me placing my thumb there just adds quite a bit more tension where it's I get the stretch that I need. I guess per user it will vary. Trial and error. Yes, and you will have to figure out how much to stretch, because in my opinion it is possible to stretch too much. Back when I first started stretching, got, I guess, a little bit of irritation. Too much pressure, stretched it too much in my opinion. Depending on your beard growth, the closer I get to this area right here, the thicker it is, and the pressure that you use will change. It'll be different than what you're going to be using over here, because it is really thick and coarse. And just past right about here, then it really starts to lighten up. It's not quite as coarse or thick. Makes a world of difference. For me, I'm not able to shift that skin quite like I've seen other guys do. But I thought I'd throw that out there, because if you can, it'll, you know, just by watching the video, it seems like it makes a world of difference on the ease of shaving right there. Now for me, it's not uncommon to get real red right here or over here, both sides. It's not uncommon for me to get red right there. And it's not that how you say, it's irritated right there. Matter of fact, most of the time I don't even hardly ever get any stinging right there. Usually it's right here when I get closer to the thick growth. Just something about, I guess you might say, how I was made. Don't think. No, not going to have to do Sometimes I do a 2.5, if you will. I'll do across the grain on this part of my face, upper part of my face. Don't think I'm going to need to. I usually get some pretty good shades with the Parker. When I first started out, there's a weight difference in between a Classic Samurai and the Parker SRB, and I felt like there was enough weight difference in between the two that the Parker, being the little bit heavier one, made a difference for me when I was starting out. That's just me. It took me longer to adjust to a lighter weight shaver than one that weighed more. And even with a DE, I was the same way. The heavier the razor, the better off I was. Just something I like, heavier razors. Now that I've shaved for a while, I can adjust. I can adjust to the lighter weight ones. I've gotten a lot better with my technique, but for me starting out, heavyweight was the way to go. Alum block. Now, if it's the first time you see me, first time you watch one of my videos, I have a towel here in front of me, and I dry my alum block off on the towel, put it right back in the container, and close the lid. When you share a bathroom, sometimes leaving things out may not be an option, so that's how I take care of that issue there with the alum block. Put it right back in there. So far I haven't had any issues with it. I'm still on my first alum block, and that's that one there. And when it gets quite a bit smaller, I think that's going to be the telltale sign how it went. I'm trying to sneeze, I think. Excuse me. And witch hazel. I think it already stopped raining. I hope we get more than that. Typical areas is the only places I got any stinging was just right over here, and that's for me. That's usually the case. Not always, but usually, because they, like I say, right through here, boy, it's really thick and coarse, and a blade really has a hard time getting through it sometimes. Lucky Tiger Aspen. I got this one here. I'm sure you can find your favorite place. I'll put links for a lot of this down below. I found this one here at a Barber Depot, where they have a lot of the, I guess you might say, classic scents. Clubman Pinaud, Lustre, Coachman, Lucky Tiger. It has a lot of that there. I have a link down below, and I'm sure that it's not the only website. It has a lot of the classic barbershop scents. Stephan, the spicy one, I really like that aftershave there. That one there is, to me so far, what I've tried of them is probably the best one. Don't think I didn't feel a nick. It wasn't stinging, but it is a little red right there. Unusually red. But outside of that, I got a pretty good shave. Mickey Lee Soapworks The Kraken. And once again, if you're interested, I think he's out of these, of one that looks just like this in the way of brushes, but he's got others that you can choose from. Green Country Razors. I'll have a link below that'll take you to it. This is a badger knot, and as you can kind of tell, got plenty of soap left in here. Bowl works out pretty well. It seems like the bowl helps out with lathering. Is it to the point where my smooth bottom one that I also paid $1 for at thrift store, is it that much better? It is better. There is a difference. If I had to pay an exorbitant amount of money for it, I probably wouldn't have got one. You know, it's a personal preference. And for me, it just, you know, if there's, I pay $1 versus, let's say, $12, nah, I'm alright with a smooth bottom bowl. I like my wooden ones even better though. Here's the Parker SRB. And like I said, there is no pin or post in the center to give it any support. Not real sure why. You wouldn't think it would be that much trouble. Had a great shave. Everybody stay safe. Smooth shaves to you until next time.